Time to Call the Master Gardener, a testimony by Edie Melson. Psalm 51:12. Restore to me the joy of your salvation, and uphold me by your generous spirit. I do not have a green thumb. Houseplants quiver in fear when I pass them at the garden center, knowing that a trip home with me means certain death. But last year I took a long look at our front yard. It wasn't a pretty sight. The once neat flower beds were overgrown with straggling azaleas, weeds, and overgrown roses that no longer bloomed. These areas had once been well defined by an edging of monkey grass, but even that had dead spots and areas of overgrowth that spilled into the yard. It was time for some work. I called an expert. The landscaper came and mapped out a plan. He took inventory and assessed what would have to go and what could be trimmed and transplanted. Over the next few weeks, he and his crew pulled off a major overhaul. First, they removed everything and brought in new soil. The old soil had become depleted. Next, he severely pruned the bushes and removed all the weeds. At this point, the yard looked desolate, with ugly patches of dirt where flower beds used to be. Sure enough, new topsoil, plants, and mulch were added. The beds were redefined and carefully edged with boundaries that would stay in place. As I watched this process, I was struck by how similar this was to my spiritual life. Caught up in the busyness and stress of life, I'd let things get out of hand, and my life resembled a wilderness much more than a garden. I took my troubles to the master gardener. He stepped in and without judgment or condemnation mapped out a plan. He did some painful pruning and got rid of the weeds that had choked my once green relationship with him. He added a layer of topsoil through his holy word to nourish my struggling faith. Finally, he redefined boundaries I'd let collapse. Our Father is faithful, and only He can cultivate anew the garden of our souls. Psalm 51:12. Restore to me the joy of your salvation, and uphold me by your generous spirit.